Hi, in this session we will be discussing about the for update clause along with where current of clause as part of advanced PLSQL. So what is the advantage of using for update clause and where current of clause? Why should we use this for update clause? All those things we will be covering in this session. Let us take an example. We have written a PL/SQL block. In this PL/SQL block, we are updating the salary column of employee table. Let us assume we have 10 lakhs of employees in our organization. That means our employee table is having 10 lakhs of rows because of 10 lakhs of employees. Now, this is the appraisal time. We wanted to give the appraisal for all the employees based on their ratings. It may be 5%, 3%, 7%, 10%, 20, 30, whatever it is, or maybe fixed amount of fixed bonus of 500 rupees or 5,000 rupees, something like that. Now, we have written a PL/SQL procedure for that purpose. Inside, we have written one update statement. It will be updating the salary column of employee table. So now, since we are giving the appraisal for all the, that means all the 10 lakhs records will be updated. Now we have written a simple for loop to execute all these update statements. So inside the for loop we have written the update statement. So all the employees one by one it will be updating. Now to complete this process, let us assume it will take 30 minutes. Means to update all the salaries of all the employees, it will take 30 minutes. So now we have started execution of this procedure at 10 a.m. The expected time to be completed for this program is 30 minutes. That is, by 10:30 a.m. the program has to be completed, so that all the records should be updated with new salaries. Now we have started at 10 a.m. We have started executing the program at 10 a.m. Now we will be updating the records one by one in a simple for loop. So the records 1 to 100 will be updated at between 10 a.m. to 10:01 a.m. and if you take the last records, that is 10 lakhs, 9 lakhs 90,000 to 10 lakhs, those 10,000 records will be updated in the last 2-3 minutes, maybe 10:27 to 10:30. So now our program is executing or updating the salaries slowly one by one, top to bottom in ascending order, starting with employee 1 to 10 lakhs. Now some other user who is not aware of this process, who is completely outside of our organization, maybe some other customer or maybe some other department, they have accessed this table and they have updated one record between 9,50,000 and 10 lakhs, 9,50,000 and 10 lakhs. So in between some one record or 2-3 records he has updated around 10:05 a.m. Our process is started at 10 a.m. It's supposed to be completed by 10:30. At 10:05 a.m. some other user has updated one record in between, suppose 9,90,000 to 10 lakhs. The last 10,000 records or maybe last 1,000 records, within that one record he has updated. what will happen to our process? The other user has updated one record, he has not committed, he has not rolled back, he has locked his system, he left for tea, or maybe he left for lunch, or maybe he left for the day from the office. What will happen to our program? Will it complete in 30 minutes or not? The answer is no. Because one record is updated by some other user, that record is locked for that user. So when our program is executing the records one by one, so like a tortoise, it will be crawling slowly one by one, it will be updating. So maybe after 10:25, maybe 10:27 or 10:28, it will reach, our program will reach to the record which was updated by the other user, and since that record is locked for other user, our program will be stopped at that point. It will be waiting to acquire the lock on that particular record. Since the employee has gone for lunch, it may take 1 hour or 2 hours. He may take 2 hours. So our program will be waiting to get the lock on that resource. So up to how long our program will wait? Enormously. There is no limit. Either the lock has to be released or somebody has to kill that process. Till that time, our program will be waiting in the queue to acquire the lock on that particular resource or record. How he accessed that particular record? We have allowed him. We have written the procedure in such a way that even though we know that 1 to 10 lakhs records we are going to access for the next 30 minutes or till the execution of the procedure is completed, still we have written the program in such a way that other users can access the data for modifications, for right purpose. That is the mistake what we have done while writing the PL SQL procedure. The mistake is ours, not the other guy. So when we are expecting the records not to be accessed by other users until our program is completed. So when we know that our program is taking 30 minutes or 1 hour, until our program completes execution, we should not allow other users accessing the data till the end of our execution. So we should write the code, we should write the procedure in such a way that our program should not go in for waiting. Let the other users be waiting till our process is completed. But our program should not go for wait. Means our program should not allow other users to access this data for write operations. They can access for read operation. There is no risk. But for write operations, we should not allow other users to access for write operations until our process is completed. How can we do that? By locking the records, whatever we are going to access during our execution process. This locking can be done in two ways. One is explicit lock, table level lock. Lock the entire table, lock the EMP table entire. Since we are going to access all the records from EMP table, lock table name in exclusive mode and then start the process, so that our program will not allow other users to access the data from EMP table for write operations until we release the lock on that. How can we release the lock? By using commit or rollback. So we are locking the entire table. Second option, don't lock the entire table. Lock the records, whatever we are going to access into our process. Suppose we are processing the records for one particular department. There are 10 departments. We are accessing the data for one department only. Other 9 departments we are not going to do any modifications. So there is no need or there is no necessity of locking the entire table. Hardly we are accessing 10% or 15% of data. Out of 10 departments we are accessing only one department. Just lock the data of that particular department. Can we do it at table level? The answer is no. At table level, we can do for the entire table. We cannot lock the table for selected columns. We cannot lock the table for selected rows. We can lock the table for the entire table, all the columns and all the rows. If we wanted to lock the selected columns or selected rows, we have to do it programmatically in our PL/SQL program. That is where we use for update clause. When we use for update, see, we always use for update clause with cursor statement in the declaration part. While defining the cursor, we specify for update at the end of the cursor statement, so that whatever the columns we are selecting into the cursor, all those columns will be locked. It can be one table, 2 tables or 10 tables. All these columns from all these tables will be locked for us until our process is completed, till we release the lock. So if you want to do table level lock, even though we are accessing all the records, we need to lock 10 tables explicitly if we are accessing the data from 10 different tables. But if you do it at procedure level, we can do only once. We just specify for update at the end. So all the columns whatever we are retrieving into the cursor from any number of tables, all the columns and all the rows that are retrieved into the cursor, all those things will be locked for us until our process is completed. That means we are not allowing other users to access the data for write operation till our process is completed. So if anybody tries to access the data during our program is executing, when our program is executing, they will go on waiting state. Our program will not go on waiting state. Our program will continue. The other users, whoever is trying in between, they will wait until our process is completed. That means we are writing the program, the PL/SQL procedure or function in efficient way so that the procedure will be completed execution within the expected time. We are not allowing any other users to make our process or our execution to put on waiting state, so that if we are expecting in 30 minutes, exactly in 30 minutes our execution will be completed. Other users, they may go on wait. If they have patience, they will wait. Otherwise, they will quit and do some other work. But our process will definitely completes its execution within the expected time. That is where we use for update. Let us see one practical session. How do we use for update clause? Then when we use for update clause, there are additional benefits. One benefit is locking the records, locking the columns. The columns what we are selecting into the cursor, the rows what we are selecting into the cursor, all these columns and all these rows will be locked until our process is completed. This is one advantage. Apart from this, there are many other advantages. Those things we will be discussing later. Let us see one practical session, one example, how do we use for update clause. Then we move on to the other features. Let's create one table. T for C1 number, C2 varchar, C3 number. 3 columns we are creating. Table is created. We are creating one procedure. P for V1 number, V2 number, in this, for I in V1 to V2 loop, V1, V2 input parameters, we are inserting into T for C1, C2, C3 values, I concatenated with A, I into 1000 end loop. So V1 and V2 is input parameters, lower limit and upper limit kind of thing. Procedure is created. Now execute the procedure. 1 to 20 lakhs. 20 lakhs of records we are inserting into this one. It takes some time because it has to insert 20 lakhs of records into the table. The table name is T underscore for. It has taken 1 minute 38 seconds, 38.45 seconds, almost 2 minutes. After inserting, we will check how many records it has inserted. Using count star, it should give 2 lakhs. See, just for inserting purpose, for 20 lakhs, it is taking almost 2 minutes. So if you go for update, one by one it has to update. Update will be taking more time than insert. So update will take at least more than 2 minutes, maybe 3 minutes, 4 minutes or 5 minutes like that. So still inserting, we'll wait few more seconds. Once the insert is completed, we will check the count and then we will do a commit. We can continue further. Still it is not completed. Yes, it is completed. Check the count. It's 20 lakhs, 20, 0, 0, 000, 20 lakhs. Use commit. Commit is completed. The records are saved to the database. Now, let us try to update the C3 column with 10% hike for all the records. Creating another procedure. Cursor C for is select C1, C3 for T for. We are selecting C1 and C3 from T for table. C2 we are not selecting. So now for I in C for, one by one in the loop, we are updating C3 column with a 10% hike, C3 into 10%, adding to C3, where C1 equal to I dot C1. It should update the record whatever is selected into the cursor. From the cursor to PL SQL block, only that record it has to update. So it will take some time for this. So we have created this procedure, and if you go for execution, what will happen is it will be updating with 10% of each record. So in this case, this is our normal cursor. Cursor name is select columns from table. No where clause here. Now we wanted to use for update to log the records. So for update will be used after from clause. Cursor C for is select C1 comma C3 from T for update. So in this case, lock on all columns of the table. All columns of the cursor here. So whatever the columns we are selecting into the cursor, all those columns and all those rows will be locked. When we use simple for update, all the columns, all the rows will be locked. Whatever we have selected into the cursor, it is valid. Procedure is created. Now, how many columns are we updating here? Only C3. We are selecting two columns, C1 and C3. Are we updating the C1 column? No. We are updating only C3 column. Why should we unnecessarily lock both the columns? Let us log only one column. In that case, we can specify the list of columns to be updated in the for update clause. For update of C3. If you feel that C1 must also be included in the lock, you can use it. Or if you want to specify the columns, then for update of C3. Means we specify the column names with of. So here we are locking one column C3.